Hi, hello, and welcome to the Lunar Lounge, brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Ablosi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the full moon. I assume it's somewhere around the 14th. It's a little bit late. This should have came out a week ago. The moon reminded me, I just couldn't get to it, so apologies. I'm the only oracle right now. It's broadcasting on the channel. That'll change when it changes within the year. I've already sang to my spirits, but I'm gonna pray with us here. Interesting. And see, we're gonna be talking about the full moon in Leo, Lyova. There you are. Okay, so when the moon is full in Leo, the will, the individual spirit, I consciousness, I am consciousness, all that comes to bear, comes to the surface. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause for a second, I think. Maybe not, grant me a moment. Okay, so a little bit of housekeeping. If you are curious, anything that is said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and check the resources in the show notes. I'm looking for the King of Swords. It's not coming. Something is off here. Grant me a moment, please, darling. Thank you. And we're back. So I've prayed and cried to my spirits, saying to my spirits, I'm going to just do a quick prayer here. These are safe names to call. Understand that we are Vodoun, West African Vodoun, not Orisha, not Haitian Vodoun, New Orleans Vodoun, not Kundumble, Palero, Ifa, Kundumble, Santera, Santeria. It's Vodoun. Okay, it's Asante Akani, which left Egypt, which is basically Kemetan and Kushite, all right? And now in modern day, it's Vodoun. So we're just gonna pour some libations and some water. Go hello ledu, hello ledu. Polisa Vodoun dan mami chamba. Hello ledu, hello ledu. Polisa egun havio sotok beleg. Belegba. Beade. Fotwala. Beablosida. No. Hello ledu. Hello ledu. By the angel, I call down the heavenly spirit. Sopo Havioso Belegba. May the king of the gods and all the divinities purify the sacred circle, purify the sacred container. May we reach divine protection during this hour of a channeled message. May we all strive for divine perfection in this lifetime, fulfill our duty and serve our mission here in this lifetime. We apologize. Please forgive us. Great Spirit, Lisa, for all of your protection, all of your divinity, serenity, and grace. May we all conduct ourselves with humility, dignity, serenity, and grace. Again, we ask for divine protection in this hour, and we are striving for divine perfection in this lifetime. Thank you. Okay, and I'm just going to pour a libation or two. I usually leave the alcohol on the ground. Make sure it's not empty though, especially if you have some type of Haviosa spirit called Ogun. Okay, and we're just going to do that from now on. Some libations when I can remember, when it feels appropriate, according to me and my discretion. Great, so we're here doing the full moon. We're going to go ahead and deliberate the findings with the Thoth Tarot. We'll impose the guidance with Nadi Anastasia's cosmic activation cards, cosmic healing cards for the soul. We're going to go ahead and pull that card now. Got it. Don't want to see it. Okay. Danke schön. Okay. So the way this works is I'll scry until the moon comes. So the full moon is actually indicative of the Pisces card, which is the moon number 18, but that's Pisces. A lot of people think Pisces is the hangman. That's actually Neptune. The new moon is the high priestess, which is technically the moon, regardless of the phase that it's in. However, the high priestess is the lunar energy. And I read, me personally, Ablosi, I read around the major arcanas. So I'll be calling out the major arcanas. This reading, I made a mistake in the past. I won't be talking about descendants like before. Unless I feel called, I will be calling out specific signs. It's only really, if it's called, I'll do what I'm told here, okay? So in other readings, usually the sign energy, it's designed to tell. This lunar spread is not. It's not designed for that. However, I will say from time to time, if you're this sign, if you're that sign, this will be going on for you, this will be going on for you. Whenever I talk about sign energy, it's always the rising or the north node, unless I say otherwise. When people read for the sun sign, unless they have a very specific chart energy, it's less than 30% accurate, because the sun has to deal with what you can see, what you can take action on, and really what you can rule over, what changes you can affect. Your rising sign literally talks about what's going to come towards you, what will show up in your life. It's a mechanism of predestination, and it's your aura, your energetic field. So literally, when God or the spirits or the divinities want to gift you something, they put it in that your rising signs inbox, if that makes sense. So usually when things happen, they might affect all the Sag risings, they might affect all the Aquarius risings. And if you don't know your rising sign, your north node is generally about the same. Okay. And a lot of people, it takes them some time to come around to this understand the concept and idea. And of course, sometimes it's different. You may have a double this, a triple that, or your chart ruler may bring you up in percentage. But anything that's not the rising or north node, it drops below 70% accuracy. The sun sign typically has 30% accuracy unless, and the unless, the rule versus the exception. The exception, it's case by case, okay? All right, so On the 14th, in most places, the moon will be full in Leo. So when the moon in Leo comes out, that's when this will be over. So we're on a path here of freeing ourselves, becoming free. I'm even hearing that Maya song, I'm free. I don't know the lyrics. I'm free. All I want to do is dance. I can hear the music. I just don't know what the lyrics are. But the ascending energy is as such. Our charisma, our vision, our sacred energy, our Shakti, it's coming back to us. It's almost as if this burden that we've been under, which is an incarnational burden, an incarnational curse, some difficulty or deal that we had to deal with while we were in the physical manifested into a third dimensional body, a human vehicle. There is shifts. Now, some of it is because we've been praying, others of it is just because it's time, not just time in our lives according to our life cycle, but also collectively in the generation, in the epoch of time, the great progression, the great year, the progressional equinox. It's time. For the last X amount of thousands of years, it could be 26,000 for some of us, 6,000 for others of us, since the fall of Atlantis 13,000 years ago. It's time, okay? Some of us were born literally for this time. So we're planting the seeds of preparation right now, because around spring and definitely around summer, that's when we're going to notice in the physical some shifts. Now, the impetus for this is peace. It will look like judgment, but what we're making is value judgments according to our peace. We're not going to deal with things where we feel out of alignment. We're not going to deal with things where we feel disharmonious, disconnected from our authentic self, our true nature. So we have discernment and judgment here. But this discernment, it has to deal with some kind of deliberation. We had unions and partnerships of progress, but it was progress where we had to deal with a little bit with the old, whether it was the old world or the old paradigm, the old way of thinking, the old school. We're moving into the new school, the new age. And it's not that negative term. We are ushering in a bigger, brighter, better, a new version of humanity here. Now, subconsciously, things are bubbling up to the surface, things that have been alive in us since birth, alive in us according to our soul's vibration. They're becoming manifest when before they were latent. And this latency has to deal with our authentic nature, our true self, the God alive in us. And again, like as I was saying, it's a collective thing. If you are a Gemini rising or not known, and I'm sorry, I can't call out every sign. I'm only what I'm instructed to do. It'll change from month to month. So Gemini rising for you, if there's a full moon lunar event happening for Gemini rising, that would be your third house. So for you, if you are Gemini rising, or let's just take the concept and idea here with Gemini energy, the third house is indicative of your skills, your craft. Now, we all know that it's your community, your family, your siblings, but also it's your skill set, intellect, reasoning, communication. because it deals with what comes towards you that you need to react or respond to. And I'm hearing the word acuity, your sharpness. Typically, it's a grading of your skill. And it can deal with difficulties, especially in youth, because we're applying our value system, and this is where we get to try it out, see what works, see what doesn't. I'm hearing baby snake syndrome. You know, baby snake tends to be a little bit worse or more dangerous than an adult snake, because adult snake, when they bite you, whether they're venomous or not, when they bite you, well, the example has to deal with venom. They're not going to release all their venom, but a baby snake doesn't have that wherewithal, doesn't have that judgment yet, discernment yet. So when a baby snake bites you, it's going to let out all the toxins, versus an adult snake, it'll just temper the amount of toxin it puts into the bloodstream. So for some reason, this is coming through. You know, we're culminating this. Okay, so we're culminating this ascension with finally having something right. Now it's spiritual. We're not going to know exactly what's right. We will be able to discern this over the next 6 months, what's right. So during the Leo new moon, which happens during Leo season, when the month is somewhere between, I don't know when the Leo full moon, when the Leo new moon is, it's when the sun is in Leo. Right now, the new moons are around the middle of the month. So I feel it's going to be on August 7th. 6, 7, 8 is what I'm getting. 6, 7, 8. Yeah. August 6, 7, 8. Around that time, we'll know what this graduation is right now. But what I'm detecting, you know, my dear, it's an opening and expansion. The divine souls, the chosen souls, there's really going to be a lot of ushering in truth, harmony, self-discovery, things that have been there the whole time, all along. They're finally going to be known. They're finally going to be at the forefront of consciousness. We have 2 aces here right now, so that's a partnership. I was already sensing that before. We had 2 twos before. So 2 aces is a union, a partnership, versus 2 twos, which is friendship. Okay. This descending energy, there's an illumination. Like I said, something that's been there this whole time finally comes to the surface. Something that's been subconscious finally becomes conscious. It has to deal with a continual commitment to being in harmony. And this comes from a heart opening. Right now, there's a change, a transition, maybe even a reversal of some kind. If we have been living in hell, if we have been living in the dark, according to the purity of our soul, the righteousness of our being, things are going to begin to shift. Some of us may take some type of role, whether it's all of a sudden we're out in front, all of a sudden we're living out loud, all of a sudden we're sharing things that we know, wisdom, illumination, enlightenment for others. We're going to be put in our proper place according to the divine plan, divine orchestration, destiny. You know, there's going to be shifts and changes, but it feels sturdy to me, stable even. So yeah, it is sturdy, it is stable, these changes. What's changing is the blockages to the seeds that we're trying to plant are going to be removed. I feel the last few years have been about learning, incorporating lessons. So if we've been healing, those lessons are going to take root now. A lot of times we work on things in the spiritual, in our mental body, in our causal body, in our astral body, and then all of a sudden it's time for it to manifest in our physical body. So the physical body is not just our body, it's the earth, it's this material realm. So what's happening is finally the door opens, the gate opens for manifestation. Now we have two kings. Okay, so as you can see, there's lots of pairs here. So two kings talks about partnerships and alliances. Before we had unions and friendships. So I was detecting with that Lovers card too, it can talk about the soul tribe, your vibe attracts your tribe. Here it's saying, yeah, we're gonna have things starting, we're gonna have things beginning, practical opportunities to manifest whatever our creative vision is, but it's going to be according to boundaries. Now, before, if there were some blockages, it would have been that the evil was succeeding. Mean people, evil people, place things, they were living a long time, they were getting what? You know, those who were chosen last will come first. Meaning if you've been overlooked, rejected, slept on, now's your time. Things are coming back around for you, and you're going to get a lot more of the pie. You're going to get a bigger cookie, a more desirable cookie now. And everybody else was taking non-righteous, things are going to begin to dry up for them. So there's going to be a cosmic shifting, a cosmic rebalancing. I heard the word reversal before. I use the Wheel of Fortune or the Two of Pentacles for that. Okay, so this driving forward is really more of a committing to manifestation of in respect to the vision, in respect to the work or the plan, the mechanisms of manifestation. And it's because pure-hearted messages. Literally, if we have spiritual divinity, adoration of a higher being, that's really the group that's going to be caught, that's going to be chosen. If you're an Aquarius rising, it's about partnerships, one-on-one even. And it's not just, even if you're not an Aquarius rising, there's this thing about humanity right now, okay? Humanity is shifting, is growing, it's beginning to anchor in the divine light. Light is encoded information, and this encoded information is illumination and light and reinvigoration. Okay, enumeration. So now we're going to start to see examples, physical examples with these pentacles here of what that illumination enlightenment was. So that's that enumeration I'm talking about. We're going to have this example a month later, we're going to have this example a month later, we're going to have this example over 6 months, we're going to have a handful, half a dozen examples of the things that for the last 10 years we've been trying to figure out whether it was conscious or not conscious. Aha moments, basically. There's going to be specific things illuminated. Now, what gets illuminated is going to be according to our vibration intuition and what level of spiritual rank we are at. Another word for that is how chosen we are. And it's not even that, because chosen people don't always hear the call. There's a lot of chosen people who will never step up to the plate, choose to serve. It's quite sad. It can feel like a waste. And there are people who are not chosen, who really want to be of service. And sometimes not being chosen is a product of a birth. It can be a curse that was put on you before you came through the portal into this realm. What is this portal I speak of? The birth canal. Born this way, I woke up like this. I'm hearing that. This illumination has to deal with Well, there's some boundaries as well. There's hidden energies, elements, people, places, things that were willfully blocking us out. It was almost like they wanted to ensure defeat. And now what's right for us, what's naturally inclined to come towards us, the blockages, I wouldn't say have been removed, but our vibration, you know, sometimes people will use tactics, strategies really upon us, against us, not with us or for us. And they'll work initially. You might be gullible, or you might be naive, or you might buy a certain lie, and then one day you're no longer believing it. Sometimes we just have a spontaneous awakening. The Judgment card talks about an aha moment. So now there's this maturity, a spiritual maturity that's on the way for a lot of us. And this is like a karmic purge. I was talking before about some type of transition, some type of reversal. It's coming. The tables are turning on whatever the genius mechanism of ignorance. The mother, daddy, teacher, preacher, science books, history books, religious books, the world stage, the controllers, the colonizers, they had a really perfect racket. They had a really perfect scam. And it's shifting. It's just according to time. It's a universal thing. It's time, universally time. So as we begin to manifest our authentic self, our soul's calling, our soul's consciousness, our true nature, we get to go on this journey of rest and healing that's really going to give us expansion of our, again, true authentic self, our true nature. I was trying to say before with Aquarian energy. So in respect to the full moon, Aquarian energy is going to talk about, a lot of people would say partnerships, but we have one-on-one relationships with people, places, and things. And these really shape us because they confront us as well. And it's not always a negative confrontation, but sometimes there's things we see. When you look in the mirror, you're confronting yourself. So a confrontation can just be something mirrored back, but a confrontation can also be an opposition as well. Maybe it's a crossing, a challenge, a conflict, a conundrum. So every confrontation is not negative. Sometimes we got to get out and confront traffic, get on the road to get from point A to point B, make it to our destination. So, you know, I believe even looking in the mirror is a confrontation of something. All right. So there's this grand awakening. And it's about healing. And we're all breaking out, breaking free from something, because up until recently, there's been some cunning, baffling, and deceptive mechanisms of the global, whatever the world stage or the global elite, or I don't even need to say those words. There's a group of people, we normally in this world call them the Illuminati. It's not just the Illuminati, because a lot of people in today's age, they don't truly, genuinely, sincerely, authentically understand what Illuminati means. Illuminati isn't good or bad. It means a class of people that are aware of this global secret. 98% of people on the surface of the planet are operating underneath some kind of secret, and it's one they don't even know about. And the secret is going to be heard different depending on your ear, depending on your level of awakening. So Illuminati actually technically this means you know what happens on the other side of the sun. You've probably seen what happens on the other side of the sun. So that means you're illuminated. Really, when people talk about the Illuminati, they're talking about the dark cabal. I just call that the negative archonic agenda. The controllers. of this reality. Some type of tactic strategy is no longer working. You know, for some reason, they're telling me to tell you the prayers, those were not full prayers. There's names I called during work that are not safe for I don't want to say uninitiated, but certain names you need hygiene and knowledge around, or it could be dangerous. It's the same thing. Certain concepts and ideas, you can't just take them willy-nilly. You need a little bit of temperance in order to take it on. So now it's time for us to take on things which were truths that were always there, but if we had learned the truth and we were uninitiated before, it would have been harmful to us. Yeah. You know, because what it is, how it is we're all awakening now. It's time. It's time to awaken, period. And now we can reach that perfection, or we've reached the level where we can incorporate this awakening and it won't be harmful. You know, certain ideas and concepts are complex and you can't explain them to a 5-year-old. You need to wait till the person is 20 to explain. It's the same thing here. There's a difference between a 5-year-old learning to operate a motor vehicle and a 20-year-old learning to operate a motor vehicle. I understand that the age of driving in most places is 16. I'm just arbitrary example, okay? That's exactly what this is. It's time for this process and cycle to happen. And before, it wouldn't have been time. I mean, it would happen to a very small percentage of people. Everybody else, it would have drove them crazy. That's not a word I like to use often. So as we go on this journey to break out, break free, it's really more driving expansion. We're now seeing where we have dominion, where things are within our grasp, within our control. We're taking control of our own lives. We're allowing certain energies to disperse. We're repelling other energies, because there's been an agenda. A tower is falling and it's on a global stage. It can be truth coming out, but also there's going to be an awakening, a great awakening. And the word for that is apocalyptis. Apocalypse talks about the lifting of the veil. Okay. So it's like the whole world ends, and it's not a literal ending to the world. It's like the paradigm shift that everybody was under is going to be forced to change. So they're going to drive a wedge. The universe is going to drive a wedge in the mechanisms of dominion that the controllers have. Because we need to go on a journey of truth, and we might need to be a little bit suspect. So there's going to be enough of humanity that is suspect of how things were. PTW versus PTB, the powers that be versus the powers that were. The powers that currently be are going to become the powers that formerly were. The shift is happening. Whether it happens this month or not, the seeds have already been planted and they're starting to sprout. Okay, I feel like a broken record, but it keeps coming through. When I started this channel, I heard this is the second time I'm saying it in the last 24 hours. The opening theme song for Touched by an Angel. And me personally, Ablosi, I never give lyrics justice because I'm not a music person. I'm not. Now, a mantra, I will say that with perfection, but these little songs in the radio or the TV, I don't care. When you walk down the road, heavy burden, heavy load, I will rise and I will walk with you. I will walk with you. I will walk with you till the sun don't even shine. I will walk with you. I will walk with you every time, every time. So it's the ancestors saying that. It's the divinity saying that. We have 2 sevens here, a hidden 10. And another hidden 7. And we have the journey and the completion. And before we have the start of the journey, and now we have the end of the journey. And in the middle of that is illumination, confrontation, healing, and accomplishment. So I have confirmations on what I'm saying. You may be mid-range adopter, early adopter, late adopter. You may already have been discovering, we call that conspiracy theory, but really it's disclosure theory. A large majority of conspiracies are real, not every single one of them. I don't know any rule of thumb to measure by. But your truth should not come from the outside. What it's saying should confirm what you already know to be true. And it's not going to come from language, intellect, reasoning, communication. It's going to come from intuition, identity, instinct, intellect. When you walk down the road, heavy burden, heavy load, I will rise and I will walk with you. I will walk with you. I will walk with you. I will walk with you till the sun don't even shine. I will walk with you. I will walk with you. I will walk with you every time, every time. So we're supported. It wouldn't seem like that. It's going to seem for a lot of us like there's a global destruction. We have both eyes of the creator here. Left eye of Shiva, the right eye of Parvati. And I was hearing, and no wonder I prayed in the beginning, Aida Wedo Mawulisa. And I did hear earlier the spell of Kingu, Kingu, Kingu. It's a Sumerian thing. So the Anunnaki is really Sumeria, ancient Mesopotamia. Okay, I'm just getting too many confirmations right now. When you walk down the road, heavy burden, heavy load, I will rise and I will walk with you. I will walk with you, I will walk with you, I will walk with you. Till the sun don't even shine. I will walk with you, I will walk with you every time, every time. That means many different things for many different people. What I'm getting is that the struggle, the turmoil is the trial, is the tribulation. Without a little bit of anguish, lamentation, the tribulation doesn't make sense because you grow through what you go through. So your muscle wouldn't have been strong enough if you hadn't had conflict and friction. It's like a baby birdie, whatever hatches from an egg. If the egg breaks from the inside out, that being has a much bigger chance of survival than if the egg breaks from the outside in. The egg, the Lovers card, the Fool card, and the World card all talk about the cosmic egg. And it's time. Every time, it is time. It's time for this awakening, but it's going to be a blinding flash of the obvious here. And we already had the rapture come out. That's the Judgment card. The Judgment card with the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower, it talks about the rapture to me. The Judgment card in and of itself is a rapture, but that's a rapture that's not necessarily chaotic unless it's a legal thing. But combined with the Tower card, that can be chaotic because it'll dismantle all of the blockages alive in you. Some people, when the truth comes, it derails them. I will rise and I'll walk with you. Okay, well, see, then there's progress. I'm curious what this progress is going to look like. Let's read this down. Remember, I was talking about agendas. These agendas are cunning, baffling, deceptive people, sneaky mother effers that are in our lives. Mainly, it's been conditioned because it came in like childhood. So, mother, daddy, teacher, preacher, history books, science books, religious books, the institutions, and the filters of reality, like churches and schools and hospitals and tishers, you know, all that compassion baiting, tone policing, concern trolling. Okay. The filters of reality is science, religion, politics, media, education. Those are all the filters of reality where they can get you to look at the truth and completely ignore it. And they'll give you a truth that's really a falsity. And what it is you're giving your power away. So now we're taking our power back. Whatever's happening energetically, we're beginning to repel any of the fictitious. So whatever we were told, whatever we learned, we're going to naturally, organically, energetically unlearn it if it isn't in alignment and if it isn't authentic. And so we have 2 pages now. So this is a journey of discovery. We're literally just through our own natural evolution, breaking free, shattering a curse, shattering karma. You know, like that's another word for expediating. You know, breaking out, breaking free of whatever incarnational curses that we're under. And some of it isn't an actual curse, no witchy woo-woo, no karma. It's just that we've been born into the matrix. So naturally, authentically, organically, there's a dissipation. Now, 5 of Wands, you know, a lot of people think it's about petty competition. It also can be a dispersal of energy, repelling things that are not in alignment with the authentic self. And the 5 of Wands is an easy energy to overcome if you know who you truly are. If you start looking stupid, acting stupid, sounding stupid because of what everybody else is doing, if you're trying to play and keep up with the Joneses, if you were looking over your shoulder, left, right, sideways, anywhere but inside, you don't do well. We will do well here because we also have the Page of Wands. I don't normally call out the minor arcana, but it's clarified by, and again, the impulse, the drive, desires alive in us is to expand, to move forward. And we do successfully anchor in this reality that is changing, it's shifting. Things as we knew them before, it's over. The old way is ending. Okay, there is going to be a death, but see, it's a forced change. It's like an eviction. The old way of life, the old station in life will be evicted from that. Because all the seeds have been planted and now they're beginning to, it's harvest time. Now, not harvest time on the farmer's calendar, but it's harvest time for our soul's consciousness. We're at the right level of spiritual maturity to be pushed a little bit more aggressively to the next stage. We can handle it now. Finally, we can handle it. We're at that age where we can get a spiritual permit and learn how to drive the chariot here. Funny that I'm saying it, but a Merkaba body. We already have the Temperance card. That's the Merkaba. I'm waiting for the Hierophant. I haven't seen it. Leo hasn't come out. The High Priestess hasn't come out. High Priestess came out, actually. So now we're waiting for the Strength card. We've been in the dark about something, and it's our soul, our spirit, our soul. A lot of us didn't even know we were living in hell. And that's true slavery. That's true warfare, to know that you've taken something from somebody and they're not even aware of it. It's called psyops. It's a version of psyops. The person doesn't even know they're at war. They don't even know how to recognize the enemy. That's very cruel, in my opinion. So it's interesting. I was seeing the Seven of Wands in my mind's eye, and it finally came out. Great. So the scales of justice, it's really karmic justice. It's finally here. So something is approaching. Excuse me, something's coming forward. And it's the manifestation of us being able to move on, the manifestation of all of the prayers of the ancestors. There's been a lot of confusion magic. We've been at war. It's a war over our soul, but they do it by attacking the mind and the spirit. What they try to do is polarize us, make us hate this person for this reason, hate this person for this reason. And see, what they do is they make us hate the victim and glorify and love the abuser, the victimizer. You know, the things that I'm saying right now, they're controversial, and there's things that I'm stopping myself from saying because they have to deal with race, they have to deal with gender. And this is a common denominator. It's a public channel. So not everything that I want to say next applies to everybody. But the people, places, things that we're taught to hate are actually the things that give us spiritual power. And the things that we're taught to love, conditioned to love, socialized to love, are actually the things that take away our power. And so in that, the truth is obscured. They have to tell us the truth. It's the rule of lesser magic. However, it's obscured. So this blinding flash of the obvious, that we're looking over our shoulder, re-questioning everything we've ever been told. And that will bring us back into alignment, because we need to move on, move forward, have triumph over. There's a hidden 10 here. So there's a completion that will not be obvious for a while. It's already here, this completion is already happening. It's not going to be obvious for some time, because we got to deal with all the feelings. We need to move on and move through something. We need to have some expansion, and it's expansion of the mind, the mental body, our fifth dimensional self. A door is opening. Now we have 2 knights. Remember, I was talking about pairs. We had 2 pages, we had 2 queens, we had 2 kings, we had 2 twos, we had 2 aces. Now we have 2 knights. Okay, you see the pairs everywhere. We have 2 3s now. And the strength card has come out. So the final overall energy is the Hangman. And right now, I'm leaving it's the only reverse card in the deck is the Hangman. So I didn't say something, but Cancer energy for this lunar event, full moon in Leo, is going to deal with illumination of our value system. The things of great importance are going to shift over the next 6 months. The things that are of great importance are going to be completely different over the next 6 months. We're going to learn what really to value. And we're going to release what we valued that really wasn't valuable. I always say, if it's not eternal, it's not divine. Everything is divine, but not everything is sacred. So if it's not eternal, it's not sacred, which means if you can't take it with you into heaven, it really doesn't matter all that much. Now, it matters, but it matters as a tool, not as an outcome. People value things and use people, and they should be really valuing people and using things. That kind of concept and idea. So next is this thing that's approaching is the truth. And the truth of God. The foundation's been laid, and now that foundation is going to be utilized. Because what comes toward us is the truth, and what opens up is the authentic self. Now, I was seeing this whole time a lot of us fighting said truth, whatever it is, however it is, whatever it looked like. There's a sacrifice. We've been making a sacrifice. A lot of us have been the sacrifice. So now we'll have strength, courage, and wisdom. And the strength, courage, and wisdom is the things that we were called to do intuitively, but we were too scared to do. Maybe we thought we should call somebody back and apologize. Maybe we had to put a block, take space from a person, a place, or thing, and then the truth came out a month or two later, but for whatever reason, we didn't go back. Maybe we left. Maybe we made a change. We took a decision. And then all of a sudden, the truth comes out. So whatever truth comes out, we're finally going to have the strength, courage, and wisdom to deal with that truth. We have the strength card, and the overall energy is the strength card. Remember, in the beginning, my prayers were to Tog Beade. I wanted to see what the colonizers are doing, and we got the Demiurge, King of Wands. So the Death card is here with the Six of Cups and the Temperance card. So it's finally time. All of the souls of humanity are healed. Temperance plus the Six of Cups is the souls of humanity. our pure, authentic nature. Also, Ajakpa comes in the Six of Cups a lot. If there wasn't a king out, I wouldn't say that, but look up Maraca, Hindu Maraca. Just go to Wikipedia and put Maraka. You know, when your soul gets weighed against a feather, and you don't pass, there's a being that devours you. That's the type of being is Maraca. There's many different Maraca beings, but it's a celestial balance kind of thing. And I'm looking at a decapitated head. This is the epic tarot. It's not, I apologize. Mystical tarot. See that head in the corner? See, we've just been dealing with something, and finally that missing piece that comes in. And whatever we've been dealing with was like a compromise. Meaning we were just waiting for something better to come along. So we've been at war and not even knowing it. The child of tears. We mourn the loss of life, of changes in our world. Death is a part of the life cycle. Tears are how we measure the loss and remember the cost of separation. The types of deities out there: seeker, the magician, receptive deities, feminine basically. Creative deities, those can also be feminine. Knowledge, love, or war. So death is a war deity. Phantos typically has lack of feelings, violence, conflict, power, ego, focused on identity. Versus us, we're always going to be the seeker archetype. It's the odd one. We don't fit into any of these relationships of being told who you are, what to do with that. Okay. We're unfathomable because God is alive in us. So there's no form, there's no shape, there's no focus. And what gives all that form and shape and focus is the difficulties, the trials and tribulations that we experience here in this life. Okay. And so that's also another reason we incarnate, because we come out of the formless, we take form in order to figure certain things out and to get our own vibration. And then when we merge back into the formless creator, our own vibration, that becomes part of the glorious, part of the universe, united in one verse, united in one song, united in one vibration. So I don't know, I really feel like I'm just getting an intuitive channel, like I'm not reading cards, like I'm reading cards, but there's, it's already a confirmation of what I know, and it's like a confirmation. So we have in ourselves intuition, in the collective world within worlds, and the general energy here is strength. The strength of intuition, strength of change, basically. Let's read this down. Worlds within worlds wanted to speak up really quickly. Peace comes within the souls of men when they realize their oneness with the universe, when they realize it is really everywhere. It is in each one of us. This is by a sacred elder called Black Elk. Affirmation: I am love, expanding and growing in power, clarity, and truth. Heart, third eye, and crown. Intuition, right, I went right there. Oops, not anymore. But the book opened up right there. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and a rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And this is by Albert Einstein. May I always have the wisdom and clarity to listen to the divine guidance and intuition within me. That's the prayer. Heart chakra again. Intuition is the universe's eye. It's the stars back there, and look at that eye. Number 18 is the moon card, equals to 9. 36, 3 plus 6 is the 9. 36 talks about all of the minor arcana that represent a zodiac sign. So it's the 2 through the 10, that's 9 cards times 4 different suits, 36. I've been seeing 36 a lot lately. 36 is also the number of Brahma. 30, 36, 39, those are all numbers that Brahma comes through. Worlds within worlds. Remember I was talking about the Illuminati, those who have seen what's on the other side of the sun. And remember I was singing I Will Walk With You, the opening theme to Touched by an Angel. Dogbeade, the ancestors. And I will walk with you until the sun don't even shine. Okay, so mastering others is strength, mastering yourself is true power. Lao Tzu. Great Spirit, guide me through this period. Give me insight, give me courage, give me strength. I need to cultivate the source of strength already within me. Sacral chakra and the solar plexus. This card comes to remind you that your inner strength and courage This card comes to remind you of your inner strength and courage. Although you may be feeling weary, hopeless at this time, do not lose faith, do not lose heart. You are a lot stronger than you realize, beloved. Moving through this chapter of your life, you will understand the lesson of having to release your inner resistance and fears by uncovering your true strength. You will have the courage to move through it with clarity, understanding, and compassion. Your prayers for strength have been heard. Release all fears that are blocking spiritual guidance. Breaking down walls will help you see, dear one, all the synchronicities and signs communicated to you. The spirit teachers of love and light wish only to serve the highest good for all, to offer guidance, love, and reminders of what you already hold within yourself. You hold so much strength, courage, determination, and perseverance. The first step is uncovering and embracing your true strength, is to accept your current state, whether it is vulnerability, powerlessness, emotional fragility, or weakness. The second step is surrendering to the universal life force of love. Allow the third step, empowerment, to flow into your life naturally. Strength and empowerment will come. Use this chapter in your life to find your deepest source of strength, to renew your faith, and be all that you truly are. A spiritual warrior living in conscious freedom. Great Spirit, guide me through this period. Give me strength, give me insight, give me courage that I need to cultivate the source of strength already within me. If anything that was said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and check the show notes. I love you, I honor you, I praise you, I thank you. Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you. Until we meet again, until we read again. Namaste, Dandavat, and Ashe. Au revoir. Sayonara, Avida Zain. Das Vidanya. Shwe Shwe. Mochi Mochi. Bye.